Welcome in, everyone, to another edition of the Sick Podcast Recruits Draftcast. This is our weekly Habs Prospect of the Week, Habs-centric show, right? We want to keep the Friday show a bit more general, talk about the world of hockey, the world of prospects, and then, we had to do it for our Habs listeners. We dedicate an entire show to this team and their prospects, and that's what we're going to do today. Grant, training camp is underway. Preseason starts tomorrow against Philadelphia at Bell Center. We have an idea of what the lineup should look like, so we're going to discuss that. And you have prepared for us our InstaCustoms Habs Prospect of the Week. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. Recruits Draftcast.
With our first pick in the 2022 NHL Draft, les Canadiens de Montréal sont fiers de repêcher from the Slovakian national team and TPS Turku, Juraj Slafkovsky.
The sickest NHL draft and scouting podcast. It's gonna be sick.
All right, producer Shane here, reporting for duty.
I never tire of that. Intro. I was just wondering with like AI, if you could change it up so that Hugh says, with the first pick, the Canadians take Shane Wright.
I don't want to hear that. I'll be honest with you. I like the original better.
Yeah. Just get one made up for like April 1st or something if we do a podcast, See,
well, you just gave away the punchline. People are going to be expecting it now. That's awesome. Well, there he is. The man by my side, you know him, you love him. It's Grant McCagg. Grant, I know you had a busy day today making the fence, right? How was that?
Yeah, my next door neighbor, who's just been fantastic neighbor for 8 years, is moving, and he's doing all these renovations before he moves so he can get an extra 50 gur there for the place. And one of the things he was doing was replacing the fence. Well, one of the fences, obviously, I share with him. So I've helped him do his whole fence there. And he helped me rebuild my deck 5 years ago. I helped him build his deck this year, but then helping him with the fence too. So
how about
hopefully
that?
We'll call it even Steven, but yeah, got a lot of sun, good exercise, and nice new third of a fence. Now I've got to build two more. Somebody's bugging me that it doesn't look, it looks a little off. So
yeah,
next summer going to have another project to do, but hey, it's all good.
Like a good neighbor, Grant McCagg is there. You'll love to see it. That's awesome. All right. Back to hockey now. It's this thing's underway, man. It's underway. Yesterday, we had our first few preseason games. There are preseason games happening as we speak. The Habs play their first on Monday, tomorrow. Now, the way that the training camp went about was mostly scrimmages, right? We saw three teams kind of playing each other every day. Now, yesterday it seemed like, and today, no games, mostly just practice and gym workouts. But, you and I weren't really at the CN Sports Complex, so didn't really get a chance to take it all in. Nonetheless, I think, we saw some clips. We heard some information. We saw that Lane Hudson saucer pass. Oh, my goodness. I mean, what can you say at this point? Like, it's ridiculous.
Nice. And that was a nice, like, nobody gives any props to Heineman, but he,
perfect reception. Yeah.
He made a great play to stay on side and because that wasn't an easy, as perfect a pass as it wasn't an easy one to receive at the blue line and stay on side, but he didn't finish it off. We saw that in the rookie tournament too. He had lots of chances, but yeah, Lane's doing it, Lane things. I got some feedback from a scout saying, really, you think Hudson's going to get 60 points this year? Well, I said, I said he might. You know, you got to have the teaser. You got to have the good title to draw them in, right? Like, but he said, you know, there's only 9 defensemen in history that have got 60 points as a rookie. And I went back and looked, and darn if he wasn't right. I said, well, there's going to be 10. I said,
oh,
and he just said, wow. And well, we'll see. I mean, he's starting off. It looks like Matheson's going to be running things the first power play to start.
Yeah.
But I think that means the second power play is going to be a lot better. You know, they're going to score a lot more goals than they did. You know, if Doc and Doc Newhook and Hudson
Joshua
on the
Roy.
second power play.
Yeah, Joshua Roy on there. You could have
Joshua. I mean,
you know, Galley in front of the net, grinding, doing his thing. Like, that's not a bad power play.
Maybe Armia stand in front of the net or whatever. You know,
options.
Yeah, that could be a decent second unit too. But it's been interesting to see the line combos, and I think it gives you an idea of what they're leaning towards as far as the start of the season goes. You know, Caulfield, Suzuki, and Slavkovsky together, that bit of a shocker. But yeah, no, I mean, they're on pace for 100 goals in the second half if they'd have played all year. The second half, so that's no surprise. Keep those guys together. But you know, I mean, I sort of predicted, and a lot of people predicted, that line 8 Doc Newhook is probably what you were looking at as the second.
Makes sense
to start. I mean, Newhook was on pace for 57 points last year or something, 55. So he's just entering his prime. Doc, well, you got to have him center in the second line A. That could be a heck of a trio. But then I found, you know, Dvorak, Loa, and Anderson. That could be a decent third line.
Yeah.
Armia, with the second half he had to be on the fourth line, tells you how much deeper the club is. You know, if he plays like he did in the second half and he's on the fourth line with Gallagher, who had a good second half too, the fourth line could be the most productive fourth line the Habs have had in a long time. So, and then you got like Boulay, Kapanen, and Pez, I think, are probably the ones that they're going to get the longest look as the 13th, 14th forwards. You know, at this point, you think maybe Boulay as an extra forward. You don't want Kapanen's not gonna. If they don't think he can beat out Evans, and I still think he could, but then you're not going to have him as a spare forward. You're going to send him back. They'll send him back to Sweden to play with Timra, likely. But I mean, he's had a good, you know, he scored a couple of goals and looked really good and I think he'll look good in the exhibition games too, and make it a difficult decision. But
that's it. I think they'll keep him the entire preseason. I would be shocked if they cut him early.
I think he'll get a really long look. I think Boulay and him are fighting it out. If they go with 14 forwards, which I think they will, because if you go with 8 defensemen, you're going to have 2 young guys sitting out. No, they're going to have one spare defenseman, I would think, and it's likely going to be a young one, and they'll rotate 3 young guys, I think, and go with 14 forwards, Pez being one of them, and likely Boulay, because he's not developing still. He could be your extra, one of your extra guys, right? That can fill in for Evans and whatever injuries, and then send Kapanen back if he doesn't beat out Evans. But he's got to beat out Evans for a spot, I think.
Yeah.
Unless they make a trade, you know, they trade Evans at the end of camp. If Kapanen is just, you can't cut him, then maybe you deal an Evans, you know, at the end of camp to a team. Who knows? But
I'd be
Jake
surprised.
Evans isn't going to go down to the minors.
Nope.
You know, Boulay, presumably will end up like not getting picked up if you send him down, but they're not going to keep Kapanen as an extra forward. I don't think it'll be either he wins a spot outright over Evans or back to Timra for 1 year, I think would be. But that's interesting, and no surprises there, I don't think, really,
No.
with the way things are lining up, and the Messar, Beck, Farrell, that could be a line in Laval, right? Heinemann's looked decent, but he's likely, now that we've got it straightened out that apparently he's not waiver eligible, he's likely bound, right? He's bound for Laval again, just one last year. So it's shaping up to be good. Hopefully a couple of the young guys score some goals in the exhibition season and make it a difficult decision.
That's right. And then, for the game against Philly, it's nothing confirmed yet, but according to the Jackeye brothers, who kind of let it slip that they'll be playing together, the first game should be Team 1, which is Caulfield, Suzuki, Slav, Roy, Dvorak, Anderson, Meshar, Beck, Farrell, and Florian Jackeye with Jared Davidson and Lucas Condota. On defense, Matheson, Reinbacher, Arbor Jackeye with Justin Barron, and Witherspoon with Hayes. That should be your team against Philly tomorrow night. We don't know yet if Philadelphia will be dressing Matvei Michkov. He played today against the Capitals, had 2 assists, both on Morgan Frost goals. Hopefully he does play because we want to see it. We want to see it. But nonetheless, it's going to be a fun show.
Didn't score a goal, eh?
I guess not.
Oh.
Turning the knife.
I would like to see him play. I would like to see him play against Reinbacher one-on-one.
That would be fun.
Yeah, because it might be the only opportunity to see it all year. But I find it interesting that Reinbacher's playing with Matheson. I don't know, and Mayu with Engstrom, I don't know if they're leaning towards giving Reinbacher a spot. I doubt it, but I just find it interesting that they teamed him up with Matheson at camp to start, which makes you wonder if, maybe, he was top 5 pick, and the top 5 picks typically by their second year are in the lineup, even if they are defensemen sometimes, but we'll see. I think he's likely Laval bound, but it's still interesting that they threw him with the player that gets the most minutes on defense,
My guess would be to fill in for Caden Gooley, who just had
Probably.
an appendicitis. That makes the most sense, right? So since Matheson is such a good leader, and he's already said that he's been in contact constantly with David, and David's been asking him a ton of questions. Like, I think that is the ideal partner really for David, a mobile offensive defenseman, kind of like what, maybe awaits him with Lane Hudson down the line. So I really like that pairing. I hope that, they keep it together for the rest of the training camp, but I agree with you. I think he's going to start in Laval probably the entire year. You'd have to think that if they want to call up someone, Mayu's ahead of him on the charts, but nonetheless, it's encouraging.
When you say David, you're talking about Savard, or are you talking about Reinbacher?
Rhino. We know Savard's making the team. Like that's
and it's David, right? It's not David. David Savard.
David, yeah.
That's right.
Oh, that's good. So, speaking of Reinbacher, he has a fellow countryman by the name of Vincent Rohr, who is having a good time right now. He's playing with the Lions, and he happens to be our InstaCustoms Habs Prospect of the Week. Grant, take it away.
Yeah. Well, you kind of stole my thunder there. There's one Zurich Lion doing a pile of roaring.
There you go.
And that's Vinny Rohr. He is tied for the NLA lead in goals to start the season. 3 goals in 3 games. So he turned 20 years of age on the 9th of September, so less than 2 weeks ago. Now, he's averaging 1639 per game in ice time, including 134 on the penalty kill and 142 on the power play. So he is getting ample time and getting lots of responsibility. That's like basically first power play, definitely first PK. Look at that chance he had right there, right? Just about put it in. He could have had a hat trick in this game because he ended up, I took highlights from this one where he scored. That was a fluke. I don't know if you can rewind
That
that
was
or
a
not.
weird one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just bring it back.
That was his first goal. Now, I still don't know. I think it bounced off about 3 of the other guys. Off that guy's skate.
Yeah.
Apparently, the Zarek guy didn't touch it in front because the credit went to Vinny. But on his very next shift, check this out. Nice move.
There you go.
So he scored
Turn that
goals in back-to-back shifts, which is pretty impressive. And then right after that, makes another. Like he had some really, really good chances in this game. I like the back check. He's continues to impress with his all-around game. They've got him playing. I mean, for a 20-year-old kid playing, with that kind of responsibility on the defending league champs, just turned 20. Look at this. Like he's like a dog on a bone, after the puck all the time. Here's a really nice play. Check this one out.
Wow.
Should have had an assist to go with that. So he, with a little bit of luck, had a hat trick and an assist in this game. Considering he only played 14 minutes in it, that's pretty efficient. So here it is at the end of the game, overtime, and just shows how he doesn't let the guy get away, right? Very, very smart at staying between the puck, between his net and the puck carrier, and not letting them have any good chances. So he impressed all around in this game, and he definitely is deserving. We brought up Demidov the other day, so we can't really focus on him. Actually, that's the same play twice. But here is the next game, and he had this chance. Beautiful save. But this is his last game, and he scored again. So in his last 2 games, he has 3 goals, which is pretty impressive for somebody his age playing in the Swiss league. It's really good league. And I've just seen vast improvement in his game in the last 6 months. Both him and Eriksson, you wouldn't have considered them to be top 15 Habs prospects 12 months ago. Now both of them are knocking on the door. Both are viable NHL prospects. I don't know if they make the Canadians because they've got a pretty deep prospect pool now, but both of them look like legitimate NHL prospects, and off to a great starts. Both of them could have taken Eriksson again, but we've already featured him. We've already featured both these guys already this preseason, and Vinny just keeps on roaring. So we decided we better give him some props for an excellent start to his NLA season.
That's right. And another guy that, one of my favorites that I saw at the rookie showcase was Tyler Thorpe. And I want to give a bit of love to him because he had an amazing overtime goal with the Vancouver Giants recently. Just missed out on Prospect of the Week, but I'm sure we'll circle back on him in the near future. He's a revelation so far. I mean, people are falling in love with him.
I watched him last night. I watched his game last night. I wanted to get a look at Landon Dupont. He's the exceptional player.
Status. Yeah.
Yeah. And wow, 15-year-old kid playing defense. Can he ever move smooth? He's just like Canada just keeps pumping him out here now, eh? Bedard, McKenna, this kid, like they're, the pipeline's not drying up anytime soon. We're gonna have awesome, national teams for forever. Just keeps.
For sure.
It's great to see. I love to see the young talent coming up, and Canada keeps on pumping out the best. So, yay, Canada.
You loved it. You love it. And our InstaCustoms Habs Prospect of the Week this week, Vincent's Roar, is of course brought to you by InstaCustoms. They are the highest rated apparel print shop in all of Canada at 4.9 Google stars. They specialize in direct-to-garment printing and embroidery. They're located just minutes away from Bell Center on Rue Stanley in Montreal. Please do yourself a favor. Go visit their website at instacustoms.com. All right. That's it. Tomorrow night, Habs, Flyers, Bell Center. It's back. It's back. It feels so good. It feels so good. Personally, I'll be more keen on watching the third line, right? Meshar, Beck, Farrell. Those are guys that, do want to show up and kind of stand out from the crowd. And on defense, I'm going to have eyes on Justin Barron, right? For anyone who watched the show with, well, I call it the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro because that's the name of the show, but I filled in for Matt O'Hayen this Friday with Stu Cowan. And we talked about Barron quite a bit. We mentioned how big of a season this is for him and how big of a training camp this is for him. So far, by all reports, he's been excellent. And I really hope that's the case tomorrow night against the Flyers. Those are the four guys I'll be having a keen eye on. How about yourself, Grant? Who you focusing on tomorrow?
Oh, I'll never take my eyes off of Slav and Reinbacher. They'll be, those top five guys, the pedigree. Line A, obviously, I'm looking forward to seeing Line A in a Habs uniform, but he won't be playing, right? But the next night, Line A and Doc, they'll be guys that I really want to see. And so over the next two games, Slav, Line A, Doc, and Reinbacher, no surprises there.
Licking your chops, man. That's some high-end talent, and it's wearing our favorite uniform. You'll love to see it. Grant, it's been a pleasure as always. We're going to catch up again this Friday for our usual show. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been another edition of the Sick Podcast Recruits Draftcast. Until next time, take it easy, everyone.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Recruits Draftcast on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.